Hi class, I thought this would be really important for us to really talk about writing your research proposal. And specifically, since we're focusing on methods right now, is really fleshing out your methods section. So I hope that learning a bit more about this will really help you in writing this all out. So the first part of your methods section should actually be your participants. And topics that you should include are who are your participants. So are you trying to recruit athletes only at Olivet College? Are you trying to recruit a bit broader? So, all participants will be 18 years or older. Also think about this. We should not be using participants who are under the age of 18 just because we would have to get parental consent. So that seems like a heavy topic, or another step. So they should all be 18 years or older. You should also think about how many participants you're trying to get. So let's say we have about 1,000 students at Olivet College, and maybe 60% of those are athletes. Well, I want to get 10% of all athletes. So then you would need about 60 participants in your study. So think about that. We always want to get, especially since this is survey data, much greater than 20 participants. But also think about whether or not it's going to be realistic for you to recruit over 100 participants. So it really depends on what your broader population of interest is. So if that is Olivet College, at least get 60 participants would be beneficial to, and it'd be great if it was 100 because that's about 10% of the population. And another thing that we should really think about is how we're going to recruit your participants. I will be speaking with CNOIS about what we can actually do with recruitment, whether or not we can actually recruit by sending out a mass email to all students, or if we have to think about other recruitment strategies. So consider those things. The next part is your procedure. So really think about what exactly you're going to be having participants do. So, I've now recruited them, now what, right? So how are they going to actually take your questionnaire? So, after recruitment, they will take a questionnaire on Google Forms, or and they will take 30 minutes to do these questionnaires, right? Or really thinking about making sure that you have some statement in there about informed consent, because everybody will need to have informed consent. Something I didn't mention before is that we will have a blanket informed consent for all of the studies in our all the studies for this class. And if you're running an experiment, you should think about what conditions you're going to be putting participants into. Or so you might say students will be randomly assigned to the informative condition or the non-informative condition. And then we are going to explain a bit more, in our materials section. So you might say students will be taking a survey online that will take 10 minutes. Well, it's once you get into the material section that you're actually going to be describing what those actual surveys or experimental procedures are. This doesn't need to be every single little piece of everything, but you should be describing things like if you're using the PHQ-9 for depression, you should describe this is a well-validated survey for depression symptoms. It has 9 questions, and this is who created it, right? If you designed your own questionnaire, what are the main topics or categories that you're going to be covering? And if you are doing an experimental procedure, make sure you describe a bit more in depth about what your two things are. So if that is they are watching an informational video, what's included in that informational video? And secondly, what is included in the non-informational video? And you're going to put all of more details about that in the appendix section. So that's at the very end of your research proposal. Last little thing I want you to do, since most of us are going to be dealing with a survey, is actually playing around with different surveys where we can host these surveys. And one of which is Google Forms, and I want you to actually play with Google Forms to see if it does everything you want it to do. So if you go into Google Forms and you start asking a question, you can pull down on the drop-down menu and see what type of things that they have. So is this multiple choice? Is this more of a rating scale that you want? Do you want them to have multiple checkboxes, for example? And just make sure that Google Forms can do everything for you. If not, we'll have to think about using SurveyMonkey for your particular study. So those are some things that we should consider before we start the next step, which is actually inputting our surveys. All right, well, I think that was just a little bit on your methods section. So please do let me know if you have any questions about that, or if I can be of any assistance to you. That includes, you can set up a meeting. We can set up an individual meeting if you'd like to meet about your study, your method section, or even the broader research proposal. And I'm going to be creating a couple more of these little short videos to talk about different things. All right, see you soon.